Well, the break I took from this game certainly lasted longer than I was initially planning. But to be fair, I really didn't want to have to come back to deal with the spider ball boss in this game. Even if I've completely resorted to using cheat codes rather blatantly in order to get past this final section of it, it is not fun in any way. Seriously, save states are not enough of an advantage considering the sheer amount of bullshit we need to get through in order to get this part of the job done. Come on! And that does it. The spider ball boss is dead. All it took was me using invincibility to get the job done. Because, dear God, they did not design this fight well on any level whatsoever. That would be all well and good if this was an optional, skippable boss. But this was a fight that was absolutely necessary for us to move on in the game, with something absolutely critical for us to traverse more of the world around us. This monster of a boss never should have been designed this way, or at the very least the final leg of the encounter shouldn't have existed. I am just downright baffled that they felt it was okay to release the game with such an absolutely broken monster for us to have to work through. For God's sakes. As rough as the fight against the boost ball boss was earlier, at least that was a direct fight where we shot at him and dodged his attacks. This was just a puzzle-style boss fight, and so getting killed by it was all the more frustrating. And I can damn well say that when I had the game when I was a kid, this boss was the main reason I never got to see the ending, and had to watch videos online years later to find out what the hell happened at the end of Metroid Prime 2. Good God. Even months after I paused this LP to give myself a break from my sanity, I'm still feeling the rage that the Spider Ball boss evokes. And it doesn't help that the room where we grabbed the Spider Ball upgrade itself is one that requires the power bomb to go through. That is just absolutely ridiculous. And it's not like we have any clue how far away from the power bomb we are right now. I'm sorry, but an easy missile expansion isn't nearly enough of a reward to make up for what we just had to go through. Right, and of course the map doesn't actually tell us where there are spider ball tracks we can use to get to new areas. We just have to guess based on what we've already done so far in the game. But before much of anything else, I'm gonna save, because I really don't want to have to go through that crap again anytime soon. In fact, the moment I'm done with this game, I'm deleting Metroid Prime 2 from my computer. It's funny how I absolutely remember that boss being frustrating as all hell, but not just how frustrated I actually end up feeling after beating the damn thing. Now, I wouldn't go so far as to say that the Spider Ball boss in this game makes this the worst Metroid title I've ever LP'd. Even with all my bitching, it's been a fun ride. Still, there's absolutely no denying that it completely dragged the experience down. I keep thinking those glowing rings on the wall are something worth scanning. They're certainly visually distinct enough for it. And there's our save point. Part of me can't help wishing it was notably raining out here, since that particular boss fight is probably the kind that will pretty much always prompt people to cry in frustration. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if the Spider Ball boss is a major reason why Nintendo is a little slow in making a Switch release for Metroid Prime 2. That's gotta be a pretty complicated thing to pull off, since that boss is fundamentally flawed, and the Wii update just wasn't enough of a downgrade for the damn thing. Nintendo generally doesn't like to change things all that much when they do a re-release of a game. With the Metroid Prime 1 remaster, they upscaled the graphics, added some subtle little things, like a bit more of a recoil when a monster gets hit by your guns, and altering the controls to a more modern standard, and while those are worthwhile changes to be sure, compared to the kinds of things that Capcom does when they decide to revisit an old game, it's actually kind of hilarious. One of these days I've got to LP the original Resident Evil, and then do the remake immediately after to show an absolute masterclass of bringing an old classic to a new generation. It was the kind of amazing job that makes me very leery of any other remakes or remasters from StarCraft to Metroid, because it hit all the right notes and added in some notes I didn't even know would enhance the thing. Bloody hell. I need to stop gushing about a game I haven't gotten to yet and get my head back into the one we're currently still fighting our way through. Have I mentioned how annoying it is that sometimes it feels random when we get certain drops from a killed enemy around here? Because that feels like something that I would probably bitch about a few times over the course of this game. Sort of like how I've been bitching about a lot of the maps around here don't tell you all that much compared to Metroid Dread, which just really spoiled me in that regard. Ah! Another dead Luminoth warrior. Really wish I could find it in me to care about that sort of thing like I cared about the Federation Marines we were sent here to save in the first place. Well, it may have been an end for you, but we've still got a good amount of footage we have to get through before we're done on this planet. Not much point in us really paying attention to that tutorial message in that logbook entry about the spider ball tracks. Hell, if we didn't know how to use the thing to latch onto those tracks, then we never would have been able to leave the very chamber we gained the thing in anyway. Ugh. As a side note, I don't think it really matters if the Ing are using that device to gain intelligence. As I said before, they are oddly passive considering they were so close to winning this war for the right to exist. They have done nothing active since we arrived on this planet. I'm not even sure I can describe how they've been fighting as reactive either. They're just sitting there waiting for Samus. Blatantly. Oh, I doubt this is really a final crusade for these people. It's just a final one they've managed to write about as we came onto the planet. Right! We already know how that went for the poor bastards. The Ing stole their super weapon and nearly destroyed the planet with it, only avoiding that ultimate hoist by their own petard, because Samus just happened to come to the right place at the right time. For some reason, I was expecting to learn something we didn't already know from that bit of lore. But maybe that's just hoping for too much, considering how far into the game we are at this point. Again, we are working to get to the third major temple. The final one before we have to get to the one that is the final sector of the entire game. probably a bad sign that one of those robotic monsters is waking up. Wish I had something snarky to say about the Ing Smasher robot working for the Ing right now. But again, I am far too familiar with various wars in the numerous games I've LP'd, and Metroid Prime 2's greatest weakness is the fact that they made a war, a backstory for this game. I'm sorry, but it just doesn't feel like the usual Metroid adventure across an overly hostile planet really works that well when you pull the planet at war kind of bullshit. That's certainly a large area of effect when the damn thing smashes the ground. Possibly one of the reasons why the Ing are such good jumpers, or at least their standard warriors are. And it's not so amazing warriors float, so ground pounding wouldn't have any effect on them either. Crap. We've got two of these damage sponges attacking us at the same time. Not that I feel all that much danger, considering they're so much easier to deal with than the previous boss we just finished. It's just kind of annoying. I probably should have fast-forwarded through fighting these things, but to be fair, it's our first time fighting them. If there are any more Ing Smashers to deal with after this, I'm going past them as fast as possible. And since these things don't have health bars, it's fairly safe to say this isn't the only time we're gonna fight against these monsters. I'd ask how much more can these things take, but we've seen more than our fair share of damage sponges in the Metroid Prime games so far. Should I be embarrassed that we took so much damage from a lumbering monster like this, or annoyed that the fight just isn't over yet, and we have no visible sign of how much either of these things can endure before they drop? And that's one down. It certainly took long enough. Now to deal with the other one. If only I could tell how far from death the other one is after all the times we've already shot it. Well, at least it has a very easy to memorize attack pattern, and now that it's just one to deal with, I'm less likely to end up taking a hit from the damn thing. Right, that makes both of the big guys down, with at least one more of the damn stompers just standing there menacingly and deactivated. Hopefully that means that the ones we just destroyed aren't going to decide to respawn at us at some point, but I wouldn't be surprised if I'm wrong on that count. Okay, the map says there's a door here, and I'm starting to get the feeling it's another door that we're gonna need the power bomb in order to get through. Is anyone else getting a distinct feeling that the power bomb is probably gonna be our immediate next upgrade? Sure, It could also be the screw attack, but we're seeing more barriers that involve the power bomb in the immediate area than us needing to outright fly from point A to point B. Even after the long break, the portals feel like they lost their luster in this game. We've just gone through far too many of them far too often. The process has essentially become casual, and if there's one thing you don't want to turn into a casual event, it's traveling between different dimensions. Right. More possessed space pirates, because of course the bloody pirates are among the most dangerous things on this planet. Funny considering they didn't bring any of their higher ranked bastards out here like most Metroid games. Right, they can phase through objects just like the ghosts they've been copying part of the moveset of. I probably shouldn't even be surprised by that, or the fact that they're only spawning in when we cross invisible lines instead of trying to work together to fight the person that the Ing and the pirates both really must want to consider target number one here. Anyway, I think I'd prefer to take down all the Ing in the room before we go after the key that's sitting there, waiting for us to grab it. Can you even consider this a line of defense for the Ing? Hell, I can't even remember the last time in this game it felt like the Ing were setting up any kind of actual line of defense to try to stop our lone hero. The bosses are all entirely stationary guardians of one kind or another, and the more repeating enemies generally just respawn the exact same way in the exact same rooms. Again, that wasn't even a problem when we were dealing with various other adventures that Samus goes through in this franchise. The justifications for us going to the numerous dangerous locations and staying there until every hostile is dead or the entire location blown up all fit the situations rather well. But we already learned in this one that the Federation Marines that we came here initially to save were dead before we even touched the ground. I don't feel in any way inclined to avenge the troops we never met before, and would have just left the planet the moment we learned their fate if the damn planet didn't have that cosmic storm to keep us from leaving. Granted, the cosmic storm is a pretty solid reason why we can't just leave, but the fact that they added in the whole Ing Luminoth war to prevent us from going is... ugh. We could have had this be a trap set up by Dark Samus in an attempt to kill us, with the various monsters and the cosmic storm being her fault. It would require quite a bit of rewriting, sure, but I wouldn't mind a reason to not bother with the light and dark beams, and getting rid of the whole war situation in the background where we never see or hear of anything actively going on in said war, while we're the only person allowed to be active when the planet is on the line. Seriously. I've lost track over the years of just how many conflicts I've gone through on this channel, where defeat results in genocide on a massive scale somehow. I know how desperate things can feel in a conflict on that kind of scale, and frankly, the Luminoth have felt absurdly lazy in comparison to many of the factions we've fought alongside, against, or as part of over the years. The only still living Luminoth warrior is Umos, who never leaves that main temple for any reason whatsoever. Every other Luminoth is in stasis, or at least it's implied they are, and we already read a bit of lore that says that one of the many heroes the Luminoth had over the course of this war was a damn child soldier. There should be some sense that every man, woman, and child in that race is trying to save their only planet from the alternate universe horde. Not that the majority of their population is taking a nap and hoping the mostly dead part of their population solves all their problems for them. Well, that doesn't make up for the absurd amount of light ammo we've needed so far, but I suppose it's a start in replenishing it. Oh boy, this is certainly turning out to be a rather long clip to end my break on this game for, isn't it? For half a moment there, I kind of forgot that we already grabbed the grapple beam earlier in this game. I guess I deserve that for taking such a long break in this LP at such an odd moment. Ah well, I'm not planning on taking any more breaks in this game. And since I distinctly remember not finding a way through that door last time, this feels like a decent point to start fast-forwarding. And I'm sure I'm going to be doing a good amount of fast-forwarding through the remaining clips of the game. Not that there's nothing left worth seeing or reading as far as I know this far in. Just that we're once again going into the usual Metroid pattern of me wandering around, hoping to find a way to make progress through sheer dumb luck or the game outright telling us where to go. Whichever comes first. Yeah, we've already been in here. Definitely a bad sign that I'm outright going in circles within the same clip. Though, at least we made the good bit of progress of both grabbing the spider ball and one of the 3 keys for the next temple. Okay, looks like we've got an interesting morph ball maze for us to go through, and thankfully not one as bullshitly deadly as the spider ball boss himself. Not sure that that bomb trigger ended up activating there. All I know is we've got more conveyor belts and now flamethrowers as well. Right, and the lasers just after that batch of flamethrowers. Definitely getting the impression there's something rather important at the other end of this obstacle course, though maybe that's just wishful thinking. Oh, son of a bitch! At least we don't have to start the entire thing over again, but that's still pretty annoying. Ah, well. We've still got plenty of health, and there's no real sense of urgency outside of my own impatience. Right, now what's our prize at the top? Apparently our prize is yet another puzzle that looks even more annoying than the one we just got through. Ugh, this had better be far more meaningful than another missile expansion. I honestly didn't expect to get by that section so smoothly, considering the last one. Wait, just saw a spider bolt track on that platform. Excuse me for wishing they gave us a better angle to see that. Really get the feeling we're gonna have to speed boost through this or we're getting dumped into the phase-on. Seriously, just how much more crap do we have to go through before we get done dealing with this rather extended morph ball obstacle course? I refuse to believe I saw that. There is absolutely no way that after all that crap all we get is a damn missile expansion. There has to be something more after absolutely everything we went through just to get to this part of the morph ball track. Son of a bitch. That was all we got from all that trouble. A lousy 5 more missiles. I'm not even sure that missiles would have helped against those annoyingly durable robots we had to run into earlier. And just to make me even more annoyed, there's another of those smashers that is just activated. Well, at least messing around for so long means the suit managed to find the next thing on its own, and apparently it's in a very deep portion of the dark version of the bog. I swear, neither of the other parts of the Metroid Prime trilogy felt as annoying as Metroid Prime 2, and I'm hoping 4 doesn't feel like this game either. Apparently, we don't even actually need to waste ammo on the different beams in order to bring down those damn damage sponges. Yeah, we can just hose it down with the regular power beam. Have I mentioned that the power beam feels so much more capable in the 3D Metroid games than the 2D ones? It's just funny how that kind of worked out.